There's a weight we carry, one that doesn't show up on any scale, but it can be the heaviest burden of all. It's the weight of a wound inflicted by someone else. For me, that wound was deep. It was a betrayal that replayed in my mind on a loop. A constant, dull ache in my heart that flared up at the most unexpected times. I remember the initial shock, the disbelief that someone I trusted could cause so much pain. It felt like a part of my world had just shattered, and I was left standing in the debris, trying to figure out how to even take the next step. The days that followed were a blur of emotions, but the one that stood out, the one that burned the brightest and the hottest, was anger. It felt justified. It felt righteous. This anger became my shield, my armor. I've wrapped myself in it, thinking it was protecting me. If I stayed angry, it meant I wasn't weak. It meant I hadn't just let it happen. It meant I was fighting back in the only way I knew how. Holding onto that grudge felt like holding onto a piece of my power, a way of saying, you won't get away with this. I replayed every detail, every word, every action, feeding the fire inside me. I wanted justice. I wanted an apology that could somehow turn back time. But living with that anger was exhausting. It was like holding a hot coal in my hand, waiting for the right moment to throw it at the person who hurt me. But all the while, I was the one getting burned. The anger didn't stay contained. It started to seep into other areas of my life. I became more cynical, more guarded. Small annoyances felt like major crises. The joy in everyday things started to fade, overshadowed by this dark cloud I was carrying. I was giving this person so much power over my present. Long after the initial hurt had passed, they were living rent-free in my head, and the rent was my peace of mind. I was trapped in a prison of my own making, and the bars were forged from my own resentment. The world outside my cell was moving on, but I was stuck, reliving the past. Friends would tell me, you should just forgive them, and I'd get so frustrated. They didn't understand. It felt like they were asking me to say what happened was okay. It felt like letting that person off the hook. How could I just erase the pain? How could I pretend it didn't matter? To me, forgiveness felt like surrender. The turning point wasn't a single, dramatic moment. It was a slow, quiet dawn of realization. It came in pieces. It came from watching a sunrise and feeling a flicker of peace, only to have it extinguished by a bitter memory. It came from laughing with a friend and suddenly feeling a pang of the old anger, ruining a perfectly good moment. I started to see that my refusal to forgive wasn't punishing the other person. They were likely moving on with their life, oblivious to the turmoil I was in. The only person I was truly punishing was myself. I was chaining myself to the past, to a person who no longer deserved my time or my energy. And that's when it clicked. Forgiveness isn't about the other person. It's not about condoning their actions or absolving them of responsibility. It's not about reconciliation or pretending the wound never existed. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. It's the act of cutting the cord that ties you to the source of your pain. It's saying, what you did was not okay, but I will no longer allow it to control my life. I will no longer sacrifice my own peace for the sake of my anger. It's about taking your power back. So, I began the work. And let me tell you, it is work. It's not a switch you can just flip. It's a conscious choice you have to make over and over again. Some days were easier than others. Some days, the anger would surge back, and I'd have to remind myself why I was doing this. I started by acknowledging my pain, truly allowing myself to feel the depth of the hurt without judgment. I wrote letters I never sent, pouring out every ounce of anger, sadness, and confusion onto the page until there was nothing left to say. I talked about it, not to complain, but to process. I started to focus on my own healing. Instead of spending my energy replaying the past, I invested it in the present. I rediscovered hobbies I loved. I spent time in nature. I surrounded myself with people who lifted me up. I practiced gratitude for the good things in my life, no matter how small. Slowly, I was rebuilding the parts of myself that had been broken. I was replacing the narrative of victimhood with a story of resilience. The first time I thought of the person who hurt me and didn't feel that immediate, hot surge of anger, it was a revelation. It was replaced by a kind of quiet neutrality, almost a sadness for the whole situation, but it was detached. The emotional charge was gone. It was like looking at an old photograph of a stranger. I could acknowledge what happened, but it no longer defined me. The wound was still there, like a scar. But it no longer ached. It was just a part of my story, a reminder of something I had survived and grown from. Forgiving them didn't mean I had to welcome them back into my life. Forgiveness and reconciliation are two very different things. For me, forgiveness was about finding peace within myself, regardless of what they did or didn't do. It was about releasing my grip on the past so I could fully embrace my future. Today, I can honestly say, I feel free. The weight is gone. The space in my mind that was once occupied by anger and resentment is now filled with peace, with gratitude, with hope. The journey was long and it was difficult, but every step was worth it. If you're out there carrying a similar weight, please know that you don't have to carry it forever. Forgiveness is not for them. It's for you. It's your key to freedom. It's the ultimate act of self-love. It's the moment you decide that your future is more important than your past. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you're on your own journey, be patient and kind with yourself. You deserve peace. Don't forget to subscribe for more reflections like this. See you next time.